So my name is Susan Rulin, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to this historic event, which is the very first Dirigo Labs pitch event and demo day. And thank you so much for joining us to celebrate this incredible event. Yay. Oh, wow, okay. Some of you may not realize it, but Dirigo Labs is not a standalone organization. We're actually part of the Central Maine Growth Council. And if you're not familiar with the great work that the Growth Council does, you should be. They advocate and advise businesses of all stages and stages of development and sizes in the towns of Winslow, Waterville, Oakland, and Fairfield. They're led by Kim Lindloff, who's the executive director, Chris Gauntz, who is the board chair, and Garvin Donegan, who is the director of innovation planning and economic development. And Garvin is the visionary responsible for bringing an accelerator here to Central Maine. And he's taught the Dirigo team so much about economic development, and we just know him as a person who always finds a way to yes. So we really appreciate all of his help and support for the Dirigo Labs Accelerator. Thank you. I didn't expect you guys to cheer, so this is awesome. Dirigo Labs is managed by a collective group of enormously talented young professionals. This nimble team of Emily Kuchar, Sabrina Gendreau, Jake Contorado, and Gabe Govin are deeply committed to establishing a thriving startup community here in Central Maine, and I really believe they will soon be the leaders of that startup community. For any naysayers out there who think that we can't build scalable innovation-based companies in Central Maine, we simply say this: hold our beer. Because tonight, you're going to hear from a company based right here in Waterville that's in the midst of a $10 million raise. You're going to hear from a medical device company right here in Waterville that's beginning the Class 1 FDA approval process. And you're going to hear from a food manufacturer in Canaan who's poised to triple her manufacturing output this year. And there are 9 more disruptors just like that in biotech, in software development, in aerospace, just to name a few. And we even have a cannabis entrepreneur who's pretty awesome. So I promise that you will be impressed. But we didn't do this alone. If you open the brochure that we had at the registration table, you see more than a list of organizations and names. You see a blueprint for an innovation hub. When you bring together businesses, existing businesses, and mentors, and academia, and the investment community, the byproduct is what you're going to see tonight. Dirigo Labs is funded by a Build to Scale grant from the EDA, and Colby College and the Maine Technology Institute provided match funding for that grant. And a gift from the Bill and Joan Alphon Foundation made our physical space possible. And these organizations are so much more than financial supporters for Dirigo Labs. They are on our advisory committee. They attend our sessions. They refer mentors to us, all to help us support our mission of supporting the entrepreneur, as do our 17 other strategic partners. Through the investment community of the Maine Venture Fund and the Maine Angels, to our friends from Phoebes College and Colby College, to our partners in economic development at the Maine Center for Entrepreneurs. Tom Rainey and Lori Johnson were like our first yes when we were out looking for partners. To the newly opened Skowhegan Entrepreneurship Center. We are able to leverage the resources of those organizations and seed a network of new companies born in Maine that will stay in Maine. So we're really excited about that. Dirigo Labs has also benefited from the generosity of sponsorship. This space, for example, has been donated by Colby College. And I would just like to acknowledge the incredible IT staff and event staff. They really set the standard for flawless execution. While Dirigo Labs was in session, every one of our beverages, every one of our in-person sessions, the beverages were sponsored by Valley Beverage and Mike Runzer. And our Beers from Peers networking sessions were sponsored by Chris Gauntz of Central Maine Motors Auto Group. And if you're getting the impression that beer and entrepreneurship go together, you would be correct. Tonight's pitch prize is sponsored by Skowhegan Savings Bank. And tonight, a winner is going to go home with $25,000. And not only have they sponsored the pitch prize, but they produced some amazing high production value videos that highlight the work that we do and the companies who are participating in our cohort. So I got to thinking, why would a bank make such a commitment to an entrepreneur? But after working with their marketing team for the past few weeks, it became apparent that supporting innovation and embracing new ideas is really part of their corporate culture and ethos. They have truly been a joy to work with, and we'll hear more from them later this evening. Dan Tilton will make some remarks at the end, and we'll see a little bit of one of those videos. I just want to give you, I know this is the boring part, you don't want to listen to all this, but I do have a couple more points to share. First, I just want to give you an overview of what's going to happen this evening. We're going to hear from each of our founders who will deliver a 5-minute pitch, and they will be judged on the following categories: impact, innovation, capital strategy, team, and storytelling and presentation. After 6 pitches, we will take an intermission, and then we will return from that intermission, and we will have the presentation of 2 awards, and then we will complete the next 6 pitches. This will give our judges an opportunity to deliberate 2 times, which would be a lot to kind of consider 12 pitches all at once in a deliberation room. One of the things that we did that's a little different is each one of our judges is judging only one category instead of trying to judge a bunch of categories. So it is my pleasure to introduce our esteemed panel of judges. So tonight, judging presentation and storytelling, we have Tori Penrod-Cambra. She is the co-founder and chief communications officer at HighBite. She's there at the end. Thank you. Judging innovation, we have Dr. Amanda Stent, who is here at the Davis Institute for AI. Judging capital strategy, we have Cheryl Hallett. She's a CPA and the Chief Financial Officer from Savvy Links. She's right here on the end. And judging team, we have David Chulo, who is the CEO of Combined Management Associates. There. And last, judging impact, we have Steve Thomas, who is a Senior Vice President and Senior Commercial Lender at Skowhegan Savings Bank. I also want to mention that Ryan Poulin from New Dimensions Federal Credit Union, who is also on the Central Maine Growth Council board, will be the observer during the deliberations. So I think some of you who have been to pitch events knows what's coming next, and I have to read a disclaimer. So I'm going to read that to you now. So tonight's event is for educational purposes only and serves to provide our founders with an opportunity to practice at making pitches. The pitches you hear tonight are intended for our judges to select a cash prize winner and for the enjoyment of our audience. This is most definitely not about finding investors for these companies, nor has it been advertised as such. Tonight, it's all about practicing for future meetings with accredited investors, lenders, potential clients, or customers, and nothing more. Now, it's my pleasure to welcome Lon Cameron from Maine Float. Clicker's not working. All right,
I got you, Susan.
All right, thank you.
Is this a good idea? No, it's not gonna. Hello and welcome. We are Maine Float. I promise we'll introduce ourselves in just a second, but first, imagine this. It's June 21st, 2022, the summer solstice. The longest day of the year. You've worked all day. But instead of sitting in a conference room, you and the folks sitting around you are out on a motorized floating picnic table, enjoying your favorite body of water with your favorite beverage. Take a deep breath, feel your feet in the water, feel the breeze on your skin, hear the loon call, and relax. This is the memorable, unique Maine Float experience.
So my name is Lon Cameron, and I am founder and owner of Maine Float, and this is my lovely, talented, amazing wife and partner, Tyler Kidder, and we are the team for Maine Float. And we are committed to designing and manufacturing novelty recreational watercraft.
3 years ago, our first motorized floating picnic table prototype was born using scrap dock materials and cedar and some Mainer ingenuity. After 2 years of very intense product testing and tweaking and being pressured by our friends and family, we made the decision to manufacture and sell a few to see if the demand was there, and it was. We moved the operation from our dooryard to a local warehouse where we set up shop this winter, and now we're in full production, and the motorized floating picnic table design is patent pending. We know that people are always looking for new ways to spend time together outdoors, so Maine Float is responding to that call. In 2020, the largest contributors to Maine's outdoor recreation economy were boating and fishing, generating a whopping $379 million. Boat sales leapt to $47 billion in 2020, a nearly 10% increase over previous year. Our picnic table boats are accessible, safe watercraft, and are perfect for those new to boat ownership. We want to provide the good people of Maine and beyond an affordable, sustainable outdoor experience.
So we've birthed the business, and part of what's so awesome about Maine Float is that not only are we Maine-based, but we're committed to employing Maine people, using Maine products whenever possible, and really striving for an environmentally friendly edge over traditional combustion engine technology to enjoy open water. So there's lots of reasons to love this watercraft, and for me personally, I love how quiet it is half the time. I never even know the motor's on, and it's just a great way to sit across from your neighbor and continue community spirit. What are your favorite things, Tyler?
I love a lot about this product as well, but my favorite part is that it's really environmentally friendly. So it's got a zero-emission battery-powered electric motor that can be recharged with a solar panel. And also we should mention that dogs love it, and Maine Float is 100% dog approved.
So a couple of nitty-gritty business items. Last year, we were in the red, 13,000, mostly due to startup costs. We did sell 16 units. This year, we've doubled a little over that to 34 units. Next year, we're hoping to be on the plus side, developing approximately 50 units for sale. So mostly we've just tapped into retail markets. We would really love to get into secondary markets, Airbnbs, restaurants, rental opportunities, et cetera.
And we invested in building a strong brand identity through graphic design because we really wanted to have a strong visual identity for our business. And in case you somehow missed it, we have earned a lot of attention. Our favorite earned media was just a few weeks ago when the Maine Cabin Masters invited us to be part of one of their episodes, which of course we said yes to. And although I know you all are eager for all the details, don't ask us because we can't tell you anything about it.
So we want your money. If we were to win $25,000, we would love to invest $10,000 specifically into improving some of our industrial technology. We could really use an industrial planer to help us scale up and also to expand our warehouse space. And then we'd love $15,000 to put towards sales and marketing to get to those markets. So that's our presentation. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Thank you, Dirigo Labs. Thank you, Skowhegan Savings Bank. Thank you.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yep.
We're so excited.
So if I were to buy one of these, how do I transport it?
Yeah, speak into the microphone.
Oh, sorry about that. So if I were to buy one of these, how do I transport it? Is it delivered in pieces and I have to put it together? How does that work?
Good question.
Great question. No, we will do delivery. We do delivery for fee. We also sell trailers that we have retrofitted using old boat trailers that we customize to accommodate the tables.
They're not all old. Only some of the trailers are old.
Yeah.
Gotta work on your sales pitch here.
Yeah. Recycle, renew.
Sustainable. Any other questions? No. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. There we go. Next, we have Michael Green from Genotyping Center of America. This advances your slide.
Hello, I'm Michael Green, CEO and co-founder of Genotyping Center of America. We are a life sciences services provider specializing in genetic testing for laboratory animals used in preclinical and drug discovery research. Many researchers rely on genetically modified mouse models to study human diseases. Our mission is to improve research outcomes by helping scientists confirm the genetic makeup of the animals they use. We have a strong and diverse management team with over 100 years of combined experiences in life sciences. We all spent time working at the Jackson Laboratory, and while there, we worked with researchers around the country, and we saw negative impacts on their research due to unconfirmed mouse models that they used. You can imagine this impact when a lab realizes at the end of a 6-month study that the mouse models they used were not what they thought they were. Not only is there a monetary and a time setback, but there's also real impacts to patients who rely on the outcomes of that research. So let me step back real quick and tell you what genotyping is. It's very basic. When you think about it, it does get complex, but essentially I think about Mendelian genetics, and we are actively looking to identify the presence or absence of a gene in an animal, sometimes whether it's one gene or 2 copies of that gene in an animal. So it's essentially that simple. So the problem that a lot of researchers face, half of the preclinical research done in this country is not reproducible. That equates to about, I think it's about $58 billion. So 28 billion is half of that number, so 56. And 10 billion of that is associated with the biological reagents that are used in research. Mice are considered a biological reagent. So that's a huge, huge challenge. Inaccuracy of results. So a lot of institutions will use core facilities, or they'll actually use internal staff that don't have training or the quality control measures to make sure the results are correct. And then there's animal welfare concerns. Researchers strive to use fewer and fewer animals, but still 111 million animals are used every year in research. Yep. So our solution, what we've developed is a protocol that allows you to do essentially a cheek swab on a mouse as opposed to tissue sampling, which you can see on the left is not pleasant. So, this has multiple benefits. It's fast, it's simple, it improves the animal's welfare, reduces stress on the animal care staff as well, and the genotyping results from a cheek swab are just as accurate as they are from a tissue sample. So the market for this is significant. There's a $1.4 billion market in the U.S. We believe that 40 million of that, over 40 million of that is achievable for us to obtain. Competition in this space, there is competition for genotyping. The biggest commercial competitor is a company called Transnetics. They are highly automated, which is actually a deterrent, so they are not able to pivot to accommodate cheek swabs readily, so it would be costly for them to do so. And then the other big competitor for us is academic core facilities, because they're often subsidized, so their rates are very cheap. We do have some advantages against them, turnaround time being a key one. So customers, as our business evolves, so do our customers. We started with small academic labs. Now we're working more with core facilities and ultimately moving into the biopharma space. And our customer acquisition has been evolving with that. So, it was word of mouth early on. Now we're getting more strategic and investing more in marketing and sales. So we are generating revenue. We're currently generating about $500,000 in revenue annually, and we're looking to grow that significantly. The nice thing about this business is we have consulting business alongside with the testing, and we have found that our customers that we bring in for genotyping come along for the consulting as well. So you'll see the blue bar is the genotyping, and the light blue is the consulting revenue that comes along with it. And early on, we're reinvesting a lot of our revenues into both our staff to bring them to equitable salaries as well as equipment for the lab. So kind of in summary, there are these societal pushes today on animal welfare, improving job satisfaction to retain animal care staff, and reducing these high costs of irreproducible results. And with that, I thank you.
Thank you for that. Is it mice now and other animals later, or other animals now as well?
Well, we can genotype anything with tissues. With swabs, right now it's mice, and then we'll look to see what we can do beyond that.
Time for one more. Can you tell us a little bit about why you started the company and why specifically this team you put together?
Yeah, so actually our COO, who's in the audience, he ran the genotyping core at the Jackson Laboratory. And they do a lot of in-house genotyping for their own animal models. Well, he saw a lot of researchers from other institutions coming to him saying, can you do our genotyping? Well, Jax does their own, they don't do it for others. So it was a real need in the market space. And when you start to think about really all the negative implications of having the wrong model in your research, it was kind of a no-brainer. It's a very simple test, but it has a huge impact. So that's kind of what focused us on that. All right, thank you.
Next, we have Sasha Derry from Blueshift Aerospace. This advances your slide.
Thanks. Quick question for folks. How many of you use your cell phone today to navigate or check the weather? Just raise your hands. All right, yeah. Well, you guys might know this is the direct result of hundreds, if not thousands, of satellites above your heads today. However, the launch vehicles taking these satellites up to space are enormous. They're overcrowded, and they're polluting the very planet we're seeking to protect and, in essence, to also study. And it's only going to get worse over the next 10 years because rocket launches are expected to grow by tenfold. Now, as you probably know, electronics are shrinking, and this has brought about a revolution and an explosive growth in a whole new industry of tiny satellites called nano, microsatellites. And these are providing the same services as those larger satellites, except they're smaller, far less expensive, and they're put into an orbit that's quite a bit closer to Earth in general. Now, the problem is that these tiny satellites receive low priority when they're placed on these large rockets next to the big satellites. They experience long delays. They can't receive much in the way of customization. And there's a far smaller chance that these guys get to choose when and where they want to go to in space. My name is Sasha Derry. I founded Blueshift Aerospace to solve exactly these problems. Now, you can think of Blueshift as we're a delivery service company to space. Instead of sending up groceries or boxes, we're sending up small electronics that enable companies to provide broadband internet services to parts of all over the planet, rural communities, or researchers that can do climate change monitoring. And we're designing, building, and launching them right here in Maine. In fact, next week, we're going to be announcing our future launch site and manufacturing facility. Stay tuned. Our sea-based launch platform, will be the only one on the entire eastern seaboard capable of launching these tiny satellites to the most sought-after orbit, the polar orbit. Now, on January 31st, you guys might remember, on 2021, last year, we were the first company. We made world history as the first company to have launched a rocket using a bio-derived carbon-neutral fuel. I actually discovered this fuel on my brother's organic farm down in North Yarmouth. It was on his windowsill. We tested it out, and not only did it worked better than the petroleum alternative. And it's that same fuel we use today. In fact, next week we'll have another engine test that hopefully you guys get to watch live streamed. Our mission at Blueshift is to make space launch sustainable. Not only is our fuel bio-derived, non-toxic, carbon neutral, but our rockets are reusable. Our test site, our offices, and our future manufacturing facility will all be powered by renewable energy. And all of this is possible because of an incredible team. We have a group of talented individuals. Many of them have left or given up on going to jobs from Pratt & Whitney, Boeing, and other large aerospace companies. And fortunately, they have chosen to work for us instead. The small satellite industry is expected to grow to nearly $30 billion over the next 10 years. And every time we launch a rocket, depending on our service, we will generate between $1 and $3 million in revenue. And once we've scaled fully up, that'll be at a 60% profit margin. We will generate 200 high-paying jobs on the down east coast within the next 5 to 7 years. Jobs like welding, composites, machining. All of these take advantage of the inherent skills of that area's boat builders, plus engineering and other STEM careers. Now, our team of advisors have helped us intensely to craft a very detailed financial model and revenue plan that plots the course over the next 10 years. Most recently, we raised $1 million on an equity crowdfunding campaign, and now we are raising another $1 million as a bridge round, which will help us finish up engine testing and give us a number of months into a runway for our seed round. All of this is with preparation to be the first commercial launch using a bio-derived fuel that will qualify us as a flight provider for NASA's Flight Opportunities Program, a lucrative program. Blueshift will be the go-to launch provider for small satellite customers for a dedicated, sustainable alternative. The future of space exploration will read, Made in Maine. Thank you. Oh! Half a second to spare. So it's not aerospace, it's just a delivery service. It's nothing scary.
Good question. So the revenue stream comes from where then?
So yes, the revenue stream is coming from two different services. One where we're launching suborbitally, which means we simply send the rockets up to space and back down, principally from professional researchers. And then the second service is for launching tiny satellites, which you can see a 3D printout of one back there, exactly the same size, for commercial and also research customers. And that is really where the big behemoth market is in revenue generation for us. Mm-hmm.
Just a quick question.
Sure.
You said you're approximately 200 new employees coming on board over a period of time. How many do you expect that to be from Maine, considering the challenges of talent?
So I get that question a lot, and the question was, the challenges of talent, and I would actually argue with that. I was really impressed. I've had the opportunity to go to the Down East Coast numerous times and talk with many folks in many different towns, and I was impressed with the capabilities of folks on the coast of doing the things that we need most, like machining, working with composites. These guys are fixing fishing boats all the time, doing exactly the stuff we need, welding. These are the things that we need to build rockets. Sort of famously, I say that we are designing rockets is rocket science, building them is ship science. And one of the cool things we learned in these many conversations I had with folks there is we learned that almost 2/3 of the year, a lot of these folks are not working on the boats, and these talented individuals, and they're looking for work outside that time of the year. And it's a perfect time, a match. I can imagine we have launch season from spring to fall, and we have build and refurbish season from fall to spring using this incredible talent pool that's already there. And I just want to say, we get dozens of applications a month for people applying for us from Maine and all around the world wanting to work for us. We're very fortunate that we have a cool company to work for. Cool. Thank you, guys.
And now, please welcome Lindsay Kuhn from Wingspans.
Hi, my name is Lindsay Kuhn. I'm the founder of Wingspans, which is a web-based platform that uses storytelling to create a new pipeline of workers. And it's a good transition from Blueshift because Sasha is going to be hiring these welders, and we're going to be making sure that there are these skilled people in welding. So right now, in Maine, our country is in a critical labor crisis, and it's spiraling out of control to a point that it might be unrecoverable if we don't do something about it. There's this visibility. Sorry. Here we go. There's this visibility gap, and companies are struggling to get a new generation of workers hired so they can innovate and grow, and young people can't see themselves in jobs that they don't even know exist. This is a problem of massive proportions, and when we look at the data, 44% of undergrads don't know what they want to do after graduation, and that's nearly half of them. And then companies like CVS are having a very hard time filling positions like pharmacy tech. And also, according to according to a new report, this is such a big problem that they put a number to it, and they say that it's an $8.5 trillion problem. The report predicts that by 2030, there will be 85 million unfilled jobs due to a lack of skilled workers. So our solution is a technology-driven platform that bridges the gap through story. It's based on the idea that the best way to learn about careers and expand your idea of what's possible is to really hear what people are doing and hear from those people who are really living those lives. So I want you to imagine for 1 minute that you grew up here, a potato farm in northern Maine. You loved growing up on a potato farm, but you also realized that your dreams and career aspirations are shaped by your limited life experiences. You know a lot about the russet Burbank potatoes and the Frito-Lay varieties, but you just don't know what's beyond the farm. So you decide to enroll in a community college, and in the first year, they have you take a seminar that uses Wingspans. As you go through the platform, over 700 plus real-world stories like sonographers and pipe fitters show you meaningful career paths that weren't previously visible to you. These stories shift and shape how you think about yourself and what you think is possible, especially because you're from a generation that loves to consume content to help you understand the world. And a SMART assessment matches you to career possibilities through storytelling and guides you in a very hands-on way. Employer profiles connect you to industries who have a gaping need and help you understand that, yes, there's training that you can get to go into really meaningful jobs and career paths. At Wingspans, we take a hyper-targeted approach to matching the new generation of workers to area employers. Community colleges partner with us to increase the chances that their students end up with credentials that lead to a meaningful job, and area companies partner with us to meet the specific labor needs, tell their story better than a job description, and get in front of the next generation. This year, we've been focused on getting schools, and we got 13 signed up and 150,000 students. We are currently generating revenue from this. So the next phase of our business is to focus on companies. We currently have 6 proposals out the door, and last week it was very exciting because we got a verbal commitment from UMass Memorial Health Harrington, who really needs help hiring, getting visibility for jobs like phlebotomists. So we're designed to generate revenue from both schools and companies. We currently have a few ways that we're testing the business model, and this is where we think we're going to end up. So hiring and recruiting is a huge market. Companies are currently spending over $300 billion on this alone. And our benchhead market, our beachhead market, as I mentioned earlier, are companies that are hiring directly out of community colleges and high schools. This is what companies are currently using to help them hire, and Wingspans sets itself apart by focusing on entry-level positions, using storytelling to describe a job, and a SMART assessment. As we go further into 2022, we're focused on growth. This August, we plan to raise a pre-seed round of funding. And thanks for having me.
I have one. How do you source the people and content for your stories?
We're very strategic about it. I have a team of journalists, and we have a list of careers that are in demand and that are important to the community colleges, and so we go out there and we seek these people. And also when we partner with community colleges, we tell their alumni success stories. So we have school pages, we have major pages, and everything's centered around the stories, and so they're also a source for us.
Next, we have Kate McAleer from Phoebes Call. That advances the slides. Okay. And pointed at this.
Got it. Hi, I'm Kate McAleer, founder of Phoebes Call, and I want to tell you about the biggest trend in consumer wellness, the green rush. What's the green rush? It's the burgeoning cannabis industry within the United States and Canada, and the market is huge. Sales of legal recreational cannabis in the U.S. reached $25 billion in 2021, and there's no sign of slowing down as states continue to relax regulations. So far, 37 states have legalized medical cannabis, with 20 legalizing recreational cannabis. While cannabis products are staples on the West Coast, the Northeast is a uniquely young market, which is in year 2 of recreational sales here in the state of Maine. Over the past year, several startup cannabis companies have launched in the Northeast market. The problem is, due to the budding market, much of the focus is on cultivation and growing rather than premium product innovation. Research shows that for women aged 28 to 75, their three most important problems are insomnia, stress, and sexual arousal. And that's why I started Phoebes Call. Phoebes Call is a premium line of cannabis edibles for women by women. Why women? Because women fundamentally consume cannabis differently than men. They hate the act, smell, and taste of smoking and are conscious about consuming all natural products in their food or drink. These are problems that Phoebes Call is uniquely designed to solve. We make vegan, gluten-free edibles in two segments, bean to bar chocolates and French-style pot de fouille gumdrops. As a luxury edible brand, our proprietary formula is designed to help with sleep, stress, and sensuality. Edibles are better than smoking. They're more accurate with their dosage. They have no smell, they're healthier, and they're a familiar mode of delivery. Meet Bev. My aha moment was when playing golf with an affluent 70-year-old woman named Bev, who suffered from a neck injury and used cannabis edibles to enable her to play golf. In conducting more market research, I found women are often deterred from the cannabis market because no one is making products that appeal to them or their needs. And she's not alone. Women are quickly becoming over 1/3 of the demographic of all cannabis consumers. 30% use cannabis daily to help them sleep, 20% use it daily to help them reduce anxiety. If we capture 30% of the estimated 6.1 million total cannabis consumers nationwide, extrapolate the 50% of women who engage in daily use, we'll have a SAM of 1 million users nationwide. With our estimated repurchase rate and premium price point, we stand to generate $100 million in annual recurring revenue if we get the entire SAM. Phoebes Call has a simple business model. Each of our premium packs retails for an average of $40 per pack, which our market research shows is a little above the average price of our competitors, positioning us as the premium option. As the creator and wholesaler, each pack costs around $7 to make, which will sell to dispensaries at a 53% margin. 1 in 4 American women suffer from insomnia. Our edibles are combined with melatonin and THC. 50% of women say their stress has increased over the past 5 years. Pandemic probably helped that. Cannabis edibles provide a familiar experience of eating a gummy or a piece of chocolate to cope with stress. And sensuality. Women are so stressed and lacking sleep, they're also suffering from an ability to rev up their sensuality. The competition in the Maine edible market focus on gender-neutral products that do not address the needs of our target customer, like Bev. We're going to go to market first in the state of Maine, where we have access to a young market that is growing, which gives us a leg up on our competition. We'll market doing social media and paid advertising via select outlets. I've spent the last 2 years forming relationships with these dispensaries and have already received verbal commitments for our pre-sale list. And I'm someone you can bet on. I'm a 10-year veteran in the confectionery manufacturing industry. I started my first company, Bixby & Company, selling natural and organic chocolate products in 2011 and grew distribution to over 2,000 stores. I'm an award-winning culinary chef and entrepreneur and well-recognized in the Northeast. We project to reach $4 million in sales by 2026 as we expand into new markets. So how can you help? $25,000 will enable the purchase of a dosing machine, which will ensure product quality and accuracy. Our recent milestones: we've been approved for a conditional license by the OCP, we have a pending lease, and we were accepted into this accelerator. Thanks for your time. Look forward to working with you.
I have a lot of questions today, sorry. Can you, you referenced some market research in the beginning. Can you talk a little bit about how you conducted that market research and the stories you heard from women you spoke to?
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of it's been anecdotal, and then there are some research coming out of certain academic institutions. It's pretty interesting, and it's all new because it's really coming out of the West Coast states that have already legalized. Yes.
Oh, just to confirm, so you don't have any revenue so far because of licensing and so forth?
Correct.
Just the dispensaries?
Right, we're not up and operational yet.
And then, so the 25,000 is for the initial machine, but there must be other startup costs, so is there a plan for how those would be covered?
Yes, absolutely. So we have a plan to build out a factory that we will manufacture in, and so its estimated startup costs will be about $200,000 to get up and going in Maine.
And this will be our last pitch before our intermission. Please welcome Aaron Adams of Ocean Farm Supply. This button advances your slide and aim it at that.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, I'm Erin Adams. I'm co-founder and CEO of Ocean Farm Supply, and I'm here today to tell you about the new standard in shellfish packaging, our Ocean Harvest Bag. It is the only 100% home compostable shellfish harvest bag available on the market. When my co-founders Eric Garansky and Willie Leathers started harvesting their oysters on their South Freeport farm in 2018, they recognized that they were taking this environmentally beneficial oyster and putting it into a single-use plastic mesh bag. Unsatisfied with this, they set out to find a sustainable, non-plastic alternative. Conventionally, plastic is what has been the standard. There is a bioplastic mesh available, but it's too weak and only industrial compostable, which most communities cannot facilitate. We wanted to do better and ask for more, and thankfully we weren't alone. Through our research, we found Packnatur, an Austrian produce packaging manufacturer that has developed this innovative cellulose mesh that met the needs of what we were looking for. We worked with them to design a durable mesh specifically for the shellfish industry. We trademarked Ocean Harvest Bag and launched in the spring of 2021, seeing growth, steady growth since then. Here's our team. We are mariners. We met working aboard a tall ship in the South Pacific. Our strength lies in our our shared communication model, and also our core value to leave things better than we found them. What makes the Ocean Harvest Bag unique is that it's better from the start. Compared to plastic, it uses less water, chemicals, and energy. The full life cycle has been considered, from the certified forests where the beechwood is grown to your home backyard compost where it breaks down to 8 to 12 weeks. This material has been third-party certified for compostability and biodegradability. Key for our business model is that the Ocean Farm Supply has sole distribution rights to sell the trademarked Ocean Harvest Bag in the US and Canada. So here's our opportunity. In 2019, over 88 million pounds of shellfish were sold in the US, using an estimated 1,600 miles of plastic packaging. We could replace this with 20,000 Ocean Harvest sleeves worth $2.6 million. Even if we captured just half of that market, that would be over $1 million in annual revenue. The industry is primed for a new standard, and we are ready to grow. We've sold to 43 of the 2,500 shellfish businesses in the United States. Our primary market has been Maine, with 23 accounts and 15 repeat customers. This is a recurring revenue model, as the Ocean Harvest Bag is single use and is used at multiple stages, from harvester to distributor to retailer. Our target market are shellfish growers and retail seafood counters. Just this morning, we had a call with a grocery store chain who wants to run a pilot to utilize our Ocean Harvest Bag in their stores. We also are bringing in black mesh and recognize that we need machinery to offer pre-cut lengths to capture the larger shellfish producers, including the 2.3 million pound mussel market in Maine. We also can distribute Pacnatur's lighter weight produce mesh, where there's established markets in France and New Zealand. There's no US market that has adopted this material yet, so this is an opportunity for us to help brands meet their sustainability goals. We are in conversation with 2 major grocery retailers evaluating our product for fit in over 2,000 stores. This is a potential market of nearly 15,000 sleeves and a $200,000 net profit per year. So based off of our steady sales from 2021 and our solid sales leads, we have conservative projections of exceeding $400,000 by 2024. We have, to get where we need to go, we have a two-pronged approach here. First, we need to access machinery to offer the pre-cut lengths for the larger shellfish producers, and then also work on our marketing strategy to help folks make the plastic switch in produce and shellfish markets. We can turn this $25,000 into $260,000 by 2024 through our 3 actions. First, procuring the machinery to offer those pre-cut lengths, produce the marketing campaign. These will be measured by the number of new customers, and then expand our management team, creating a new job here in Maine. Thank you.
Tell me a little bit about your management team and their business experience.
Yes, so co-owners of Ocean Farm Supply, it's owned by Eric Oransky and Willie Leathers, and they have 3 other businesses together. So have been working successful businesses, including the Oyster Farm, Maine Ocean Farms, and Casco Marine, which installs marine moorings. So the experience there, they've been working together for 5 years and have been successful since their initiation. Thank you.
Okay, it's intermission. The bar is open. It's beer o'clock.
Before we jump into our next 6 pitches, I get the fun job of presenting awards. So we're hearing a lot about our cohort members, but we really couldn't do any of this without our mentors and our amazing presenters that we had throughout the Dirigo Labs cohort. We had 72 mentors from actually across the country, which are amazing, and 36 presenters. And all of these people have donated their time, their expertise, their connections, and so much more than that to our cohort members to help them jump to their next level of success. So we'd like to start off by just thanking all of them. So thank you all so much. So the Dirigo Labs staff and the cohort members chose a mentor and a presenter that we think really went above and beyond what we asked them. So I'm going to start off with our mentor award. And this is an individual who really kind of came to us out of the blue, was someone that was like, how have we never met you before? Because your expertise is so amazing. He has the coolest stories, including a run-in with Elizabeth Holmes of Theranos, which we've asked many questions about. It's very cool. This person attended almost every single one of our workshops, the virtual, the in-person. Without fail, we saw this person at Dirigo Labs and at Waterville Brewing for our Beers with Peers, which we love so much. He was an incredible resource to Hussey Medical, which is the team that he worked with. And he unfortunately is not able to be here tonight. But all we're going to have to do is wave a pint of Waterville Brewing, and I'm sure we'll get him back to Waterville. So no worries, he will get his award. But in the meantime, we'd love to have Bob Hussey come up to accept it for his mentor, Dave Shoemaker, who is Mentor of the Year. Okay, and then for our Best Presenter Award, like I said, we had 36 presenters. We had 3 workshops a week, which is a lot. It was a lot for us to ask for people. It was a lot for our cohort to attend, but they were so incredible. So it was really hard to make this choice. This is someone who was one of our first yeses to everything we asked. So we said, will you be a presenter? Yes. Will you be a mentor? Yes. Will you help us connect to the VC world? Yes. Just an incredible supporter of Dirigo Labs. He was also a mentor, also has incredible startup experience of his own with a 30 eggs exit in 2019, which is incredible. And this person presented on team building, culture building, shared his startup story, and I know I felt inspired. I wish I could have worked for them when they were a startup. And overall, just an incredible presenter and mentor, and he is here tonight. So thank you, Jeremy Barron, for being Best Presenter.
Surprise. Oh my God. So glad you're here. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Emily Kucher, everybody. She's an awesome team member on our Dirigo staff. So you all know I'm a stickler for a schedule. So next, someone familiar to you in the startup world, we have Joan Drapeau from Slick Picks. Which? Thank you so much. So this one? This is a different. Okay. Yeah, this one.
That's the advancer?
Yes.
Because I think you have to show this, right? Show it to your right.
So just click once. Oh, that's going backwards.
Oh, wrong way then.
There you go.
There we go. Okay. Okay. Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming this evening. Online consumers, on average, visit 130 web pages daily, and 47% of the time they leave web pages without taking action. They give marketers 6 to 8 seconds to engage them away from their scroll, or else they're gone. This adds up to trillions of dollars in potential lost revenue. My name is Joan Drapeau, co-founder and CEO of SlickPix, and we have a solution. SlickPix is disruptive, patented technology, improving customer experiences, and ultimately increasing sales. So let's go shopping. This is a fictitious company called Maine Naturally. Clicking on this website image, you don't know where you're going to go. Women's, men's, boys, girls. Clicking on it, we're going to the women's, right? The flannels. But what happens if you wanted one of these other items on the image? Well, this fictitious company, Maine Naturally, would subscribe to use SlickPix, use our patented interactive image technology, and transform this static web image into an interactive experience where now each of the items on the image are clickable to next steps. This click and buy will increase sales and improve the customer experiences. Also, these interactive experiences can be embedded on a website, which will improve navigation as well. Demand metrics study states that interactive experiences, such as what SlickPix it does, increases sales by 200%. But engagement is not only about clicks and buys. It is about informing and entertaining the audience. SlickPix allows businesses to create rich multimedia stories and attach these stories to each of these interactive items as well. Now, these interactive images with rich stories embedded on a website can be shared across all social and marketing channels, as well as with affiliate partners, linking friends and followers back to these unique interactive experiences on the website, improving website dwell time and SEO. Benoit and I are partners in life and world travelers. We've seen many injustices, social, environmental, and ethical. Our discouragement has led to our passion to develop SlickPix, where businesses can tell their They're impactful stories, and businesses can make informed purchases. Google states that in 2020, searches for ethical brands and ethical shopping grew by 300% and 600%. Really. Meet the SlickPicks team. We have the experience, the technology, legal, marketing, sales, and finance. And if we're lacking it, we simply go ask our mentors and advisors from these great organizations here. Meet our beta testers. The top row are our current beta testers, and the bottom row are our testers we're interested in conversations with. Our go-to-market includes business-to-business, partnering with marketing, ad, and web agencies, as well as Impact.com, our affiliate chosen platform. We're also including a launch into Product Hunt, which is where innovators look for new and upcoming technologies. Our financial projections: we are a monthly reoccurring revenue subscription-based platform. Our total revenue for our first year out is $194,000. For each dollar, a cost of goods sold is 50 cents, operating cost is 47 cents, leaving a net income of 3 cents. Our strategy to go to affiliate marketing strategy is 7 times lower for our cost to acquire customer, bringing in $8 for every dollar spent. These are 3 key areas of need for us: internal engineering, general administrative, and sales and marketing. If we would win tonight, 100% would go into sales and marketing to hire Dale Burchard from Fire and Spark Marketing Agency, whom we really would like to work with. Our funding, our additional sources for funding, we have applied for prime funding as well as seed grant fundings through MTI, and we're looking at engagements with Maine Angels and Maine Venture Fund. Also, a reward-based crowdfunding through Kickstarter. SlickPicks is an all-in-one solution with a full funnel solution for both businesses and consumers. Please reach out to learn more and introduce us to anyone who would be interested in using our patented technology. Thank you.
Thank you for that interesting presentation. Are you using computer vision to make the images interactive, or are you highlighting the regions by hand?
It's highlighting the visions by hand, but you know, what they do is they upload the image, and then they make the interactive segments. They can make multiple interactive segments, and then once they have, then each one of the multimedia stories can then be attached to each one of those. So. Anybody else?
Thank you. What's your vision for what this company could look like in 5 years?
Well, SlickPicks has many marketing potentials. I mean, this is just the beginning. Can you imagine Napa Motors, for example, using this interactive images to have part numbers, prices, and how-to videos linked to it? Virtual tours, trade shows, real estate. There's education that we've already been approached by. So there's a lot of different marketing potentials. But in this particular market, I can see this can be a real disruptor when it comes to social media, in particular Instagram, because we have a solution that I didn't really touch on that goes into some disruptions with the way things are done on social media strategies. So, thank you.
Next up, Heather Kerner from the Good Crust.
Thank you, Susan. Moving forward. Yeah, you're on your first slide. Great.
Good evening, everyone. Just in time for dinner. My name is Heather Kerner, and I am founder of The Good Crust, an artisan dough company featuring the grains of Maine's own grist mill, and with a social mission to help people with unique needs enter the workforce. As a working mom living near a grist mill in central Maine, I started The Good Crust because I couldn't buy a pizza dough that used only local grains. Well, didn't the pandemic teach us the wisdom of sourcing our foods closer to home? With my identical twin being CEO of Maine Grains, I realized I could solve this problem with a unique connection to Maine's grain supply. In addition, as an occupational therapist using local grains to teach life skills and special education, I recognized a real-life application to use pizza dough for purposeful workforce development. Despite the challenges of the pandemic, and there have been many, we have created 12 jobs and a profitable business in 2 years, hired over 20 skilled contractors to get our new facility ready for operation, and manufactured 65,000 pounds of pizza dough. You can now find the good crust at breweries and restaurants baking wood-fired pizza, over 45 health food stores, and nonprofits using pizza for fundraising. Sales are on track to double from year 1 to 2, and we only just moved into our production facility in March. In the fall, we'll onboard with Maine's University Dining Services for a branded retail concept forecasted to increase our sales by $10,000 a month. We'll vend the Common Ground Fair, and we're forging relationships in school nutrition to bring healthy, whole grains to the menu. Our company is proud to offer 2 key solutions for Mainers, resulting in broad impact. Number 1, we are leading an effort that commits to regional grains only for the $48 billion North American pizza industry. We do this by utilizing 100% Maine grains products sourced just 6 miles away. It's the fresh stone-milled grain that sets the good crust apart from our competition, and we are redefining pizza that is from Maine. This has a direct impact on our state's 45 wheat farmers and millers, scaling their own operations to revive a regional grain economy. As the pizza market trends toward bake-at-home kits and healthier whole grains, we are perfectly positioned. Currently, we are purchasing 3,000 pounds of local grain per month, and when our production triples by fall, we'll be purchasing 9,000 pounds. That's $162,000 a year we'll pump straight back into the hands of farmers. Further, strengthening the local economy, we are founding partners of the Maine Craft Pizza concept, where we're collaborating to educate consumers about a pizza that is defined by the flavors of Maine, rather than New York, Detroit, or Chicago's. Imagine going on a pizza tour to sample the flavors of Maine on your favorite flatbread. Now you can. I'll be looking for the lobster scampi made with the good crust. Secondly, we offer vocational programming for people with unique needs to enter the workforce. In our startup year, we provided 150 hours of workforce development training to individuals with brain injury, cerebral palsy, autism, and addiction recovery. By tapping into the skills of underserved populations, we are solving a labor force issue for our own company while improving the whole team's resilience and life outcomes. With a commercial loan secured last year, we purchased and completed upgrades to our manufacturing facility, enough to begin scaling. Sean Duffy, a nationally acclaimed cheesemonger with experience in food safety, blends his skills seamlessly as our production manager, while Nick Rimza oversees sales and marketing. Mentors at CEI, Top Gun, Dirigo Labs, and others strengthen our team. The Good Crust is poised to scale our production by 900% in the next year, allowing us to forecast $1 million in revenue by 2024, with room to expand on site. With a $25,000 prize, we will complete fundraising for a walk-in freezer needed this summer, which will allow us to add 5 new jobs in production and packing, add storage capacity to reach our sales goals. My name is Heather Kerner. I grew up in Maine, and it's my privilege to give back by fermenting new careers with delicious local grains.
What are you lacking in regards to current capacity having to do with talent that you're going to need in the next few years, and how will that be paid for?
Thank you. That's a great question. We have very strong leadership on our team in food production and manufacturing, as well as sales and marketing. My talents lend themselves very well to both the knowledge of local grains and the use of them, as well as the soft skills necessary to work with a population with unique needs. What we'll be searching for is strong leadership in executive operations and financials. Right now, we keep the Coastal Enterprises Women's Business Center close at hand, and they provide a lot of our technical assistance in that way right now. Thank you. Thank you.
And now we have John Peters from Trusted Renter.
Hello, can you hear me all right? Awesome, thank you. Trusted Renter simplifies renting for tenants and landlords, making it easier than ever to apply and breaking down barriers to renting that can make it difficult for renters to find housing. College students know this pain well. On top of their heavy workload, they often have restricted budgets, which can make it difficult to find apartments. And on top of that, application fees can eat into that budget even further, leaving fewer and fewer options. One story that we heard about was a tenant who, looking for an apartment, spent over $300 in application fees, and by the end of that process, still wasn't able to find housing. Landlords have similar frustrations. On top of renting out their property, they often work full-time jobs, and adding to that stress is the fact that these properties are often investments that they hope to get them through retirement in the future. This leaves us with a rental industry that's full of stress, tension, and a lot of mistrust. Our solution brings both sides of this together into one community, working together to build one another up. Tenants on our platform build a rental history profile that acts as a common application for other apartments and goes with them as they rent. And landlords will be able to know exactly the information they want to know right from the point of application. So landlords right now don't really have great options. They mostly use background checks and credit checks for screening. And because these aren't great, they often have to find creative solutions. A few landlords that we spoke to mentioned that they would look into a tenant's car in order to see if it was clean or if it was dirty, and infer from that whether they would be able to take care of the property. Now, I don't know about you, but if I was in that situation, I probably wouldn't be getting the apartment. So what we've built is a way for tenants to apply easily and show that they are great tenants right from the point of application, removing all of the bias and guesswork from the situation. We wanted this to be the safest way for tenants to apply, especially in an environment filled with scams and fraud. Everybody on our platform is verified, and the information that they're sending out only ever goes to the people that they want it to go to. But on top of that, it's not the only benefit. Tenants paying rent through Trusted Renter will find that they're able to build their credit with their rental payments that they make each month, and a college student just starting off on this journey will feel that benefit for the rest of their lives. The rental industry right now is lagging far behind every other industry when it comes to technology and innovation. Most of the options, if not all of them out there, focus on credit and background checks, and none of them focus on the renter's experience through this. There's a huge opportunity to improve the renting experience, and we're leading the way. With our current revenue model of a 1% service fee on rent payments, our market size is $8.5 billion, but the economic and social impacts go far beyond that. Tenants using this platform won't have to pay that $300 in application fees, and they'll be able to hold on to it. And landlords will gain peace of mind knowing they won't have to deal with $3,000 to even $10,000 in legal fees should something go wrong. Our team is focused and passionate about the real problems facing the rental industry today. We've built and launched this platform to landlords and tenants in Maine, and we're currently expanding outside the state. With a $1 million investment, we'll be able to reach $1 million in annual reoccurring revenue by 24 months. And we'll reach that milestone by working with universities and other community partners to better the renting experience in every area they're involved in. We've already partnered with these 3 Maine universities who are excited and eager to get their almost 18,000 students the benefits of Trusted Renter. And we need your help to bring these benefits to renters everywhere. Thank you.
I have a question. How many people are using the platform now?
Right now, we have around 50 users on, and that's mostly tenants, some landlords. We're working on building that up, and we've been increasing our marketing budget in order to get more people aware and involved. And we just started these partnerships with the universities, so as those build up, that should also help a lot with adding users to it.
What inspired you to start this company?
Yeah, so a lot of it had to do with my dad's experience in renting out property and his frustration. He was also a lawyer in that area as well. So I heard a lot of the problems going on in the community. And I also knew a lot of people who rented during college, and their frustrations with finding housing and just the process of getting into it was very difficult. They often had to fill out physical applications and send them in. And I just, when going through my dad's frustrations, I said, well, why isn't there a better option to be able to know who's a great tenant and easily get them on board and make their lives easier in the process? And it all just kind of connected together. Thank you.
And now we have Paul Gurney from Maine Nerve.
That's your forward. Great. This little button. Hello. For 17 years, I lived nearby in Vienna, Maine. And so I'm very excited for what Dirigo Labs has created for entrepreneurs here. Judges, you have a very difficult job here to identify companies with the most potential. Here are 2 big reasons why. 1, you don't really have enough data points on the founders or their innovativeness. 2, most world-changing ideas start out looking impossible or implausible, and so almost no one gives funding to these unproven ideas. I call this slide Weird Ideas. Charlie Munger said Tesla would fail, Charlie of the Warren Buffett duo. Steve Jobs first said no Apple phone, and then later, when his team built it, said no third-party apps. Our parents said, what, strangers sleeping in your house? We're lucky these inventions got made, but how many transformative ideas didn't because their founders were unknowns or lacked connections and resources? In the absence of useful data, judges and funders usually pick safer, predictable ideas. After all, this is precious money at stake, and you don't want it to go to waste. But safe doesn't invent a better future. Audacious people and ideas will. So is there a better way to know who to fund? Yes, start with the crowd. We believe that the best way to create new markets and grow the economic pie in Maine is to provide long-term funding to thousands of Mainers who demonstrate unique, innovative thinking, and then to let the market validate what they go on to create. Let 1,000 startups bloom. But how do you identify all of these innovative people to then invest in their projects and startups? It's all about better signals. There's my team. I see an MD, a couple PhDs. I don't have any letters after my name. Are these enough signals to invest in us? Why is it that we can easily identify the best baseball or chess players in the world? Because their fields generate a lot of relevant performance data. Think Moneyball from baseball. Because of neuroscience, we know that there are far more innovators than there are entrepreneurs, and good data can prove it. For every one entrepreneur, there are hundreds of thousands of clever, imaginative people who could be tapped for their insights, or could start a lab, or join a startup team. So our mission is to enlist 50,000 of the most curious, insightful Mainers into a new crowdsourced think tank built upon ongoing idea tournaments. It's like we're hiring 50,000 of our state's most innovative thinkers to solve your problems and invent possibilities for you through the power of crowdsourcing. After all, what's better, a small internal team trying to innovate alone, or together with a diverse crowd of 50,000 clever Mainers? So this is all new and unusual and maybe weird. Okay, idea tournaments are the think tank, are a new kind of think tank for everyone. How it works: post a question that needs unexpected ideas from a diverse crowd. The crowd will double-blind rate and mentor each other's ideas. The best thinkers will rise to the top across every niche out there. Over months or years, with a public record of innovative thinking and badges, these innovators will now have the world's best signal of investability, an innovation resume. This innovation resume provides the missing data points that funders need to make effective decisions. Our platform is a three-sided, our gamification principles motivate people to do the hard work of solving a lot of complex challenge questions and makes it fun. We are a brain gym, a league of problem solvers, and an innovator incubator for Maine. Here we are. Our platform is a three-sided market. Businesses like yours fund challenges and causes that need creative solutions by offering prize money. Innovators solve these challenges for you, giving vetted, unexpected ideas. Their growing reputation, tells you, patrons, I'm the one to fund in aquaculture, in STEM, in journalism, in marketing, in any field. The prize money funds them long-term while they grow skills to start projects or companies. We help de-risk the decision to partner with someone, hire them, or fund them. So how do we kickstart this ecosystem? By attracting as many players as possible. Your $25,000 will be prize money paid out. That's our marketing money. Fund a lot of people. And imagine 50,000 thinkers in Maine generating millions of dollars for themselves, money that stays local, and better still, this think tank is global. Mainers can stay in Maine, but innovate for the world. What would you do with 1 million minds in your pocket? Thank you. On our platform, we won't require what could or how could questions, which are open-ended and create possibilities. So I challenge you, can you do a how could or what could?
I know you're focused on 50,000 Mainers. So is there a reason you're not trying to get ideas globally?
Oh, absolutely. So this can start in Maine. Oh, sorry. I lost my voice. So we targeted 5% of the population, okay? But absolutely globally, 5% of the world. I just didn't want to seem super audacious up there on the slide. But starting in Maine, the goal is to keep people in Maine doing think tank work for the world, right? So innovation, homegrown, but problems are universal. So yes, companies in Maine can certainly harness the wisdom of the crowd here in Maine, but there could be people from Mass, Malaysia, all innovatively solving problems. So it doesn't matter where you're from, rural, your economic background, you can be innovative, and we want to find you and identify you to the world to then be hired, funded, and brought in on teams. Thank you. I appreciate it.
And next we have John Gadbout from Prospector.
This advances.
Hi, my name is John Godbout. I'm the Chief Operation Officer and co-founder of Prospector, where we do data mining for mining data. Think Bloomberg, but on a deep sector focus for the mining industry. Now, quick question. How many of you drive a car? So in about 10 to 15 years, those are all going to be electric. And did you know that an electric vehicle has 10 to 20 times the amount of copper in it that a combustion engine vehicle has? Not to mention all the lithium, cobalt, nickel, all the other metals that go into making batteries. We are at a point right now, globally, they don't make electric bamboo, I'm sorry, where we need to mine a lot of metal. We need to figure out where it is. We need to do it sustainably if we're going to meet our electrification goals for 2050. As it stands right now, we don't even produce enough. We don't have enough deposits. That's places in the ground where we know there are metal to meet our 2050 goals. A little scary, right? And so at Prospector, what we've done is we use machine learning to go through a lot of technical documents and make it easier for folks that might want to invest in electric vehicles or other environmentally sustainable companies that are doing electric work and invest in mining. If you invest in Tesla, why not invest in the people that run the mine that gives Tesla the nickel, gives them the lithium, gives them all these other things? Tesla's doing it. They just bought a stake in a mine in Minnesota for nickel. They're doing the same thing with lithium in Nevada, right? Why is it that we can't get investment into this sector and get better oversight into it? It's because it's very inaccessible. It's very boring. I work with geologists all day, and they have to teach me things all the time. And what we created Prospector for was to create that awareness. Recently, we released a new product. It's called Analyst. This is for the investment bankers out there. This is something that someone that's using a Bloomberg terminal or S&P or any of those type products would use. Production data, NPV analysis, how much waste does the mine produce, all that stuff. And it sends about $1,000 a month. And we already have about 200 leads for this. We need to sell 100 we need to send 100 seats by the end of the year to meet our revenue target of $1 million. And we think this is a big market, right? This is a huge market. Financial analytics are going to grow from about $10.5 billion a year to $28 billion a year just by 2028. Mining is needs about $160 billion in CapEx. And so that leaves about, think about what you're spending on analytics when it comes to the mining sector. It's roughly $750 million, $1 billion a year market. We're trying to get about 50 million of that. How do we make our money? We have a SaaS platform where we sell subscriptions. You pay $25, $75, $200, $400, $600, depends on the data you want. We do data arrangements. We have a 5-year deal to be FactSet's exclusive provider for their data. If you don't know who FactSet is, if you use Robinhood, they're the ones who give you the earnings per share estimates. Investment portfolios is our kind of third place where we want to actually invest in mines, particularly exploration long term. What does the competitive landscape look like? When you look at the overall financial analytics, there are 4 big firms. There's Bloomberg, there's FactSet, there's Refinitiv, there's S&P Global. They do beta, all that kind of stuff. But from a deep sector perspective in mining, it's S&P Global. 9 months ago, we started building a database. We now have the 2nd largest one in the world after S&P. We are coming for S&P. This is something where we think we can catch them with our current fundraise by using machine learning and deep sector knowledge. We focus on bringing analysts in a decentralized manner. Geologists do not like office jobs. I will tell you that right now. So we give them a way to get paid by the data, work remotely, and then build machine learning models that help automate portions of that data collection process. These are some of our current clients. We do have Tesla working on our platform, looking for some of their investments. We have Anglo American, Newmont, Agnico. They are top 10 gold producers. Stantec is one of the biggest geological consulting firms in the country, and TMX is the Toronto Stock Exchange. They are the largest mining stock exchange in the world. We have 126% quarterly growth. This is our team. I worked at IBM for 7 years in strategy and analytics. Emily, my founder, also worked at IBM with me. She has been in mining investment for 15 years. Gotham Iyer, our head of data, is an investment banker and geologist. Phil Hopwood is a former metals and mining lead for Deloitte. And Marcel Godoy is the CTO for AngloGold Ashanti, a top 10 gold producer. We think we can get to $25 million in profit by 2025, profitable by 2024. And we're currently in the process of raising about $10 million. That'll put 25 seats here in Maine. I work down at Bricks. You can see my office anytime I want. Love to chat with you. And that's about it. Anyone questions? I'll let you ask.
How How did you form this team?
So I'd love to show you this, but there's a website called CDAR. It's where Toronto Stock Exchange puts their filings. It's the best website you could build in 1996. And it's where you go to find technical reports. And my co-founder, Emily, was walking the floor of the conference we were just at last week called PDAC. That's the largest mining conference. And Emily was walking around setting up a new fund. And they were kind of going around collecting brochures and like, there's really got to be a better way to do this and a better way to keep track. And so was the birth of Prospector, was her talking to me. I was doing my own startup called iBuild. Love to chat with you separately on that if you want to. But Emily said, hey, can we figure out a way to use this machine learning, natural language processing thing to make this a bit easier? Because part of the problem is S&P's license is about $30,000 a year, $25,000. And so either you're paying for that or you're using a 1996 website, right? Those are your two options. And so we're trying to fill the gap in between there and then slowly work up to be able to compete with S&P on a full scale. Yeah. Thank you.
What has your funding been to date? I see that you're planning.
So
ability in a few years.
so we were initially funded with about $300,000 in seed back in 2020. COVID hit. We were acquired by a mining investment company in July 2020. They provided us with $2.5 million that have gotten us to date. We are now in the process of being spun out from that mining company to be a separate entity. We're running through RTO. We're still working through whether we're going to trade or not. Part of that has to do with the economics of the market. And so this was to basically separate us out from that mining company because it had an active mine. And so what was happening was the mine was producing gold. You sell the gold was then being invested in the tech company for R&D. That's the relationship. Yeah. A little unconventional for most tech startups, but it's the mining industry. Anyone? Thank you.
And now we're down to our very last pitch. Now I'm very pleased to introduce Bob Hussey from Hussey Medical.
Let's get situated. This advances your slide.
Okay.
And aim it to the laptop.
Okay, glue it down so it doesn't fall over. Okay. 2018, I had emergency surgery, which resulted in an ostomy. This procedure removed my large intestine, and now my small intestine empties into a bag adhered to my stomach, my abdomen, through an opening called the stoma. Oops. That's it. With an ostomy, I have no biofeedback to alert me to go to the bathroom. And while sleeping, the bag can get overfilled and the back pressure can cause the adhesive to peel away from my skin, resulting in a blowout. Blowouts can infect a healing wound, can ruin mattresses, bed sheets, and most of all, it impacts my dignity. This creates significant anxiety when going to bed. And you know what? I'm not alone. My name is Bob Hussey, and my sons Dave and Dan and I co-founded Hussey Medical, a company based in Maine. We solved the blowout problem. Creating a new medical device from scratch and introducing it into the market is involved and expensive, and our team is uniquely capable. Dave and I are engineers responsible for hardware design and software development with over 50 years of combined engineering, manufacturing, and industrial experience. And since I have an ostomy, I can easily test our new ideas brought to life with our 3D printer. Dan is a physician who works for Mass General Hospital and has taken care of patients with blowouts like myself, and he has extensive experience in research. We have previously raised $30,000 with the Maine Technology Institute and Maine Medical Center and invested $40,000 of our own funds. Our patent-pending device, Ostomy Sense, is reliable and low cost, and with a design that is simple to use and has a discrete profile. The current prototype was entirely made in Maine, and our market-ready sensor will be too. It alarms before blowout occurs, and it works. I've used the alarm every night for a year and a half, and of the false positive alarms, about half were caused by me experimenting with different adhesives. We reached out to stakeholders in the medical community to test the need for an alarm and received unanimous support from ostomy patients, nurses, gastroenterologists, surgeons, and also nursing home administrators. The Ostomy Sense works with existing bags. User adoption will be greater than if a proprietary system were required. And typical supplies for ostomy care is about $3,500 per person per year, and the annualized cost, whoops, I hit the keyboard. Oh, shoot. It's a bummer. Okay. Shoot. Ostomy Sense works with existing bags. I talked about that. Typical supplies cost about $3,500 per year per person, and the annualized cost for the Ostomy Sense is $220 per person, a fraction of the total ostomy care expenses. And with the reduction of blowouts, the need to change the ostomy appliance may decrease, and the Ostomy Sense could be a net zero expense for the user. The United States ostomy population is 1 million people, with 120,000 new ostomy patients annually, which supports a growing multi-billion-dollar ostomy appliance industry, $3.3 billion right now. Blowouts are common among this population, and nearly half experience leakage or blowout events. And we want to share our bag alarm with these ostomy patients to improve the quality of their life. When this device is market ready, boy, I was sorry. When our device is market ready to launch in 2024, we project the sales to be 15 to 35% per year. And we plan on partnering with major medical device companies for broad commercial access. Our immediate financial need is $25,000. This will fund Massachusetts General Hospital focus groups, and the initial consultant fees will enable us to navigate the FDA approval process and FCC compliance. We are excited to share our alarm with fellow ostomy patients, and so they can rest easy like I do. Thank you. Bad thing about paper on computers. I kept on hitting it. Any questions?
Have you considered extending it to also detect infections that I think can affect people with ostomies?
I'm sorry.
Have you considered extending the sensors to also detect infections like temperature, raised temperature in the area where it connects?
Well, the primary goal is to prevent the blowouts, which are the most important of all the problems that an ostomy patient has. So we're trying to keep this device as simple as possible, low cost, so that any ostomy patient can buy it, even if they didn't have insurance reimbursement.
Yeah, can you talk briefly about the manufacturing of these devices?
Yep. So far, well, Dave and I did the initial prototype in the basement to prove out the concept. And then we went to Enercon in Gray, Maine. They manufacture custom PCB boards. And we brought our software design and hardware design to them, and they manufactured the PCB board, which is on that board over there. Yeah. And so there's many different manufacturers of custom boards. And when we get to the point where It's looking like after the focus groups, we're going to move forward and go to market. Then we'll probably do competitive bidding amongst Maine companies. Yep. Yep. Thank you. Yep.
I told you they were awesome. I don't lie. Okay, Jake, what's going on? This is the end of our pitch. I would like to introduce Garvin Donegan, as I mentioned earlier, to share some remarks.
Thank you, Susan. And just a few comments here as judges are going to be recapping. You did just hear our last pitch there. So just one more hand of applause for these amazing entrepreneurs and startups. As the judges deliberate here, we have a short video, but I'd be remiss if just we didn't provide a few more thank yous of importance. So again, good evening, folks. Just moments before the fun part of what some have been waiting for. First off, again, just 12 incredible pitches. We well know how much time and energy went into this work and throughout the cohort. Similarly, the Dirigo Labs team and staff has helped create the conditions in which much of this growth has occurred, and certainly for us at the Growth Council. Susan, Emily, Jake, recently Gabe, and of course Sabrina have just been amazing contributors to Maine's economy locally that has been felt every single day. Similarly, I want to say hello to everybody watching at home, and thank you to Crossroads TV. Additionally, as a result of these amazing startups and pitches, Dirigo Labs is pleased to announce that all the Dirigo Labs cohort companies here this evening will be awarded with a 2-year membership to Bricks Co-working and Innovation Space in downtown Waterville to help underwrite costs and grow ecosystem building for the Mid-Maine region. Additionally, the Audience Choice Award, please do continue to vote if you can by hitting that QR code. Will be provided with a year-long dedicated desk with that additional Bricks membership. These prizes have a total value of over $46,000, bringing with first pitch prize of $25,000 to a cumulative prize impact of over $71,000. Thank you to our friends, thank you to our sponsors, and to our strategic partners. In particular, when folks these days are talking about economic development in the state of Maine, it's more common that you hear about Mid-Maine and Waterville, Maine. Probably what is less common is the discussion and the role our academic partners play. To KVCC, Kennebec Valley Community College, Thomas College, and Colby College, this is the institutional backbone in which we're growing from within and is helping investors de-risk and is helping create the conditions in which that growth may occur. So again, congratulations, teams. Shortly, but not to the fun part right away, just recall, as R.W. Emerson properly well wrote, there's no history, only biography. I've always loved this simple quote because it reflects the past, the current, and the future. And now to our Dirigo Labs teams, you are all both past, present, and future part of our innovation family, where you will always have a home here in Maine, here in Central Maine, and here in Waterville, Maine. We have promised each one of you that we would never be parochial and support you wherever your journeys bring you, today, tomorrow, and into the future. Similarly, I want to just spotlight probably what most of us share in this room, a dedication to the community, a growth-oriented mindset, the ability to take risk, but smart risk, and to work in great teams. So thank you to everybody in this room right now, and wherever your entrepreneurial journey may take you. Again, I just want to underscore the work that has occurred at Dirigo Labs has been the result of many individuals and initiatives, from existing programs and people to new teams and new partnerships. From WAVE, a new regional collaboration to call Lead Flow, and attract investment for businesses, large and small, to support for new support programming for companies with partnerships through Maine Venture Fund. Now it is easier, cheaper, and more efficient to locate, grow, expand, or retain your operation here in Maine, here in mid-Maine, here in downtown Waterville. So with that, I would like to briefly, I'm going to introduce Mr. Dan Tilton, who's going to be touching base on the judge's findings, but first have a brief video as the judges deliberate. But again, thank you to Skowhegan Savings Bank. Dan, on an interpersonal note, I've always so appreciated working with you. There you are back there, sorry. You and your team were one of the first people to believe at that time in Brick's co-working and innovation space, which at that time was just an emerging co-working space back in 2018 to where we are today. Thank you to the banks and particularly Skowhegan Savings Bank for supporting our entrepreneurs and our growth mindset. So without ado,
launching in September of 2021, Dirigo Labs is Maine's newest accelerator program here in mid-Maine, with a focus of accelerating some of the most exciting startups and entrepreneurs the state has to offer.
12 companies participating in our inaugural cohort, and they are rockstar companies, every single one of them.
We're so pleased to announce and thrilled to have partnered with Skowhegan Savings Bank for our inaugural pitch prize of $25K that will be going to one of our entrepreneurs and startups this year.
It's exciting for me as a lender as well as the bank to see what may come of some of these very impressive entrepreneurs.
In thinking about the community and its needs, we really started to think about why Waterville, what are the needs, and how can we really create additional momentum. We saw Dirigo Labs as fitting into a gap that did not exist, but being able to pull from Resource Hub.
As a longtime mayor, I am personally invested in the state of Maine. I want to see the state be successful. I think this program that's being fostered by the Dirigo Group will help develop Central Maine, and that's why I'm so excited to work with this program.
There is nothing like working with entrepreneurs. And I think participating in Dirigo Labs, what I see is the interaction between the entrepreneurs. What happens at the in-person sessions is magical. It's really a tremendous experience to watch a company grow and prosper, and to feel that maybe you had some kind of a part in that is very rewarding.
Where we are today of running a 12-week cohort of amazing companies, 12 companies in that 12-week cohort, culminating in a public pitch competition here in June. So congratulations to our startup that will be holding that big $25,000 check, that big check ceremony. We so look forward to it.
Thank you so much, and just welcome again, Dan, SVP for Skowhegan Savings Bank.
I'm going to try not to set my paper on the screen and mess anything up here. Great job, everybody. First thing, I wasn't nervous until I got here and saw the clock starting. Susan, am I on the clock? Yeah, okay. So I'll keep it. Oh, I got to drag it out till the door opens. I'm sorry. I'll be dancing up here before you know it. It's just a couple of things. One of the key things I heard tonight over and over again, obviously innovation, but Maine, right? I mean, that's why a lot of us are here. Garvin's been focused on Central Maine for a long time, the Chamber. There are so many great things going on here in the state of Maine, and that's one of the reasons why Skowhegan Savings Bank was proud to be a part of this. But it's pretty cool. And as I went through the list, I have a connection with almost every one of the 12 cohorts that are up here. And I kind of made a list as I went along. And I can talk now because the judges are behind the quiet. They can't hear me. But number one, floats. So I have a camp in Sangerville, Maine. There's one for sale in Dexter I've seen a couple of times. I might have a buyer for you, by the way. Talk to me after. Jackson, so genotyping, or I was like, what is that? But they're talking about Jackson Labs and the connections. How many people here don't know somebody that's been a part of Jackson Labs and all the great things that are going on in that field? Blueshift Aerospace. So I read about that when it first happened. How cool is that? We're launching rockets, or we'll be right here in Maine. Wingspans. Anybody here need help hiring new employees? Talk to us after. We got some bank openings. Phoebes Call, by the Candy McQueen. I'm looking for a 4th Friday and a golf scramble. So if you're available, talk to me after. What a great concept. Consumer wellness cannabis, right? There's nothing going on in Maine related to cannabis these days. Ocean Farm Supply, shellfish packaging, right? I mean, right here in Maine, how appropriate is that? Slick Picks, I got a demo from Joan when I first got here. Really cool stuff. We all need some help with our marketing. Heather, I drive by her new store every single day, and I promised her I wouldn't call her Amber today because her twin lives in Skowhegan and we see her all the time. And I didn't. I called her Heather. And John, the trusted renter. I've tried to teach my kids how to be prepared to rent or to buy. Now I have to tell them to keep their car clean, and what a great way to teach them that. So really cool stuff. Maine Nerve, again, Prospector, really cool stuff. Hussey Medical, I actually have a family member that's very applicable to right here in the state of Maine. So everybody here, all 12 of these can impact all of us. And I'll tell you this, I will guarantee you at least one of these companies 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now, we're going to read about, and they're going to impact our world as much as some of the other amazing companies that have come from the state of Maine. So congratulations to that. No surprise probably to our team from the bank here that I went totally off script as soon as I got up here. But I do want to thank our marketing team. I'm not going to name them because we don't want anybody to try to steal marketing support. They are amazing. John, where are you? The guy that put this video together is over here. Yeah, he's shaking his head. He happens to be wearing one of our hats tonight. And then just a couple of things about the bank, and I will be brief, but we have a foundation, Skowhegan Savings Bank Foundation, which is where these funds came from. And our mission's pretty simple. We focus on workforce development and driving economic growth in our communities. That's why this was a great fit for us. We believe in it. Clearly, everybody in this room believes in it. So what better competition to be a part of than right here in Central Maine? We celebrate these 12 businesses with all of you that are having a positive impact on our state and driving economic growth right here in the state of Maine. Special thank you to Garvin. Thank you for those comments. It goes back a while. This has been in the works. It's been part of your vision. We've had some conversations that go back a while, and we're just excited to see it happen. So thank you for your efforts. And the Central Maine Growth Council in general, the Mid-Maine Chamber, Susan and Emily and the team at Dirigo Labs, doing a lot of great things in Maine. Educators, judges, including our very own Steve Thomas, who's in the back room there deliberating. He's a senior commercial lender at the bank and also a senior manager. He's got 2 seniors in his title. I only have 1. All of the mentors and sponsors, thank you. And again, congratulations to the 12. One of the great things I love about our bank, we were founded by a couple of folks that believed in hard work in the logging industry and ultimately led them to create our bank. And everybody here, these 12 cohorts are working hard and will continue to work hard to make Maine proud. And that just is part of who we are. We consider ourselves the bank for the makers. These are the makers. Congratulations to all of them. Again, thank you, Dirigo. Garvin, everybody, and congratulations in advance to the winner. Do you want me to do my dog and pony show now, or are we going to wait for judges? Yeah. All right.
Just kidding.
Again, I just take this opportunity to thank everybody. What you're going to expect to see for us in the future is both exciting and bright. We are going to be doing another run of a cohort, 12 to 14 week, coming up fall or winter. You're also going to see programming coming out of Dirigo Labs with shorter term sprints, supporting businesses to really modulate around longer cohort sessions. And some amazing workshops and events. I'd also expect you to see that our partnership with the government in terms of federal and state government operations to both continue and to grow. And the Dirigo Labs team itself will be growing as we have plans, continued plans for the growth of downtown Waterville and an innovation hub strategy where we're stitching our collective assets together. In so many ways, this is a reflection of the entrepreneurs and the people in this room. Just a few other folks I'd like to say thank you to, since I do have the time. Our board of directors, we have amazing fiduciaries. The Central Maine Growth Council is structured as a 501c6, mission-driven public-private economic development corporation. We have projects statewide, regionally, and of course locally. On the public sector side, do the work for City of Waterville, Town of Fairfield, Town of Winslow, and Town of Oakland. And then on the private sector side, a range of businesses, operations, academic institutions, and civic organizations. Can I get a show of hands? Who has not been downtown Waterville recently? That's pretty good. I really encourage folks to both today or this summer come join us downtown, but also for the fun illustration of seeing what city building looks like. We're working on our roads, our buildings, and our companies to do more events like this incredible one that we have today. So much so that this event, approximately this time next year, will be held downtown. Albeit this has been a wonderful place to do this demo day today. So with that said, I'm going to give Dan the honor, once we get the envelope here, on reflecting who has a $25,000 prize. Just take a look. That's right. I'm just going to open it for you. You guys should come on up. Come on up. All right, are we ready? I don't know if we have a drum roll, but if we did, we would have it right now, so. Yeah, come on, whoever we're talking to. Come on here. All right, and the winner is Blueshift. Come on this side.
Put it to your bank account?
Yes, sir. Yeah, right. Not mine personally, but we can cash it for you. All right.
Feels like church.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, great job. Congratulations. So Sasha, Blueshift, we have to have you stay up here. You cannot go far. For the Public Choice Awards, the audience has also selected Blueshift Aerospace and will receive the dedicated desk at Brick's Co-working and Innovation Space. And again, congratulations. Any remarks or anything?
Oh, yes. Actually, I really want to thank. So Garvin, I really want to thank the folks with Dirigo Labs. All of you guys have been really amazing. I was slightly hesitant about this program just because there's so much going on. There's this rocket thing going on that we're trying to build and get launched off the ground, and I'm really glad I did it, not only because we won, I mean, of course, that's nice, but you guys really timed the mentors, getting the right people
when we needed it right the most. I was amazed by how applicable everybody was to what we were doing. And we're doing something that's a little bit different than a lot of companies in Maine. So thank you guys very much. I'm already jealous of the next cohorts and 6 o'clock beer time, or was it 7? I don't know, it's a lot of beer. But I really appreciate it, and I've learned to actually it's really been actually great to be with a lot of the other companies in the program, because, you know, yeah, we're a rocket company, but it turns out so many of the things and the problems and the hurdles that we're going through are exactly the same as the other companies. And I learned a lot from talking and feeling the pains and sharing my own pains with other folks, other cohorts. So I'm actually really thankful to those folks too, because of all the things they shared with us. And I wish everybody the best of luck and the best of skill, and of course a lot of blood and sweat that we will all be pouring into this in the years to come. So thank you guys very much, and thanks to Dirigo Labs. So thank you.
Well, again, thank you to our amazing entrepreneurs, of which this could not be possible, and your teams and your startups and your innovation. Thank you so much, folks. Please feel free to stick around and enjoy some food and a cocktail and a beverage, and we will see you all soon. Thank you. Cheers.